Strange things are happening to me. Strange things. Strange things are happening to me. Ain't no doubt about it. Welcome back to StillerBros at the Movies, and today, once again, we are doing a movie that we've already seen, but a movie that we just couldn't resist. No. Back in April when we did our first retrospective episode, we didn't know if we were going to be doing another one, but then last time we were at the movie theater, we saw something, and we just couldn't pass up the opportunity to see one of our favorite movies of all time on the big screen, yet again, Toy Story. Almost 30 years ago, one of our favorite movies of all time came out, and you could say it got the ball rolling for like everything that led to these videos right now. It's insane to think about how one movie 30 years ago changed our lives in a way, and it's insane to think that that was 30 years ago, especially because we saw that movie in theaters so many times. 7 times. Yeah. And it's just... The original Toy Story is such a seminal work in the medium that it lives in that it almost didn't need to be a good movie on top of everything else. But the fact that it is, you know, the important thing about this movie. The fact that it was good on top of being this history-making, technology-pushing idea of, well, we have CGI animation. Let's see if we can push it to make an entire feature film. It's a movie where you don't seem to realize now, 30 years on, how it affects film now. I don't think a single movie we've seen so far this year would exist without Toy Story in some capacity. Mostly because of the fact that most of the computer technology developed by the artists at Lucasfilm that would eventually create Pixar is stuff that eventually led to visual effects and digital editing and all kinds of other stuff. Hell, this show would probably not exist, at least not in the quality that we are attempting to push it into, without digital editing software that was developed by Lucasfilm. There's that jump cut. Lucasfilm led to that. Yeah. There's a straight line, essentially, from this.
Orange met peach, and peach met mango, and all together they started to tango.
To this. This.
There's a new store in town. Toys R Us is its name. Filled with toys for girls and boys and every kind of game.
To this.
Better sit down for the show, cause I'm gonna show you how it's done.
This.
Plague Slayer. Now Listerine faces the greatest threat of all. The threat of gingivitis.
To this. Oh God, kill with fire! But it's really just an insane thought that this is one of those movies that has stood the test of time after 30 years and even back in the day was comparable on the level of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Mostly because, yes, if you really look at it, the comparisons between early Pixar and early Disney are really there. The fact that these were startup companies were really testing the bounds of animation as a medium, and at one point someone just had the crazy idea, we need to make a whole movie out of this. It's never been done before. It's only been seen in short supply, like 10-minute at most shorts, sometimes just little commercials, but now we need to see if we can push the bounds to make it a full feature-length movie with a story and characters and voice acting, music, all of that. And this is what came out of it. And it's a movie that introduced us especially to a lot of talent that we still love to this day. The movie stars some of the most iconic people of the era, with the likes of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen basically at the height of both of popularity, with Tom Hanks being one of the top movie stars at the time, and Tim Allen being one of the top TV stars at the time. Don Rickles, Jim Varney, Annie Potts, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, all of these people had gained popularity in the various projects they'd worked on through the 80s and 90s, and here they were in this groundbreaking movie.
And it's gonna be insane to go back and see it on a big screen, because obviously we haven't seen this on a big screen in 30 years.
Yeah.
And I am personally expecting a lot of memories to come flooding back seeing it on the big screen for the first time in 30 years.
Particularly because some of my earliest memories, at least, are of us going to see this movie. Is that sad? It feels sad.
No, it's not sad at all, because that's some of my earliest memories too. Some of our earliest memories are going to the movie theater to see this movie because we saw it so many times.
7 times.
7 times.
Now we're going to make it an even 8.
Yes.
But the thing of it is that this movie was iconic. Like, to this day, we made a whole video where we told everyone who can still watch it that all it took to make us cry in a theater full of people was Randy Newman's score. Granted, it was the score from Toy Story 2, but it counts.
Or the fact that we said a logo made us cry, or that we begged Pixar not to make Toy Story 5.
They're doing it, so that shows you just how much pull we have.
But still, this is kind of also a precursor to the fact that Toy Story 5 comes out next year.
Yeah, Toy Story 5 comes out next year. So for right now, this is us just kind of going through and remembering exactly why we loved the first one, even though we don't really need reminding. We watched this movie enough times that we could probably recite it from memory.
Yeah.
And of course, the fact is that Toy Story is iconic. There's just no other way to say it. And unlike last time we did a retrospective episode, unfortunately, Andrew Stanton and Pete Doctor are not going to come out and answer every stupid question we have after the show is over.
Selfish bastards running a multi-million-dollar company.
But, yeah. What else is there to say right now? Toy Story is one of our favorite movies of all time. We love the opportunity to gush about it, and that's pretty much the exact reason why we're paying money to go see it, even though we have it on video and DVD, and it's available on Disney Plus. So we could just do that, but instead we're gonna go watch a version that has been put together to be re-aired on the big screen for the first time in a long time.
We've seen this movie countless times. We're about to see it again. So I don't know if there's much else we can really say about it.
Just get ready for us to kind of gush about one of the movies that made us who we are today after the jump. Over the last 30 years, we've seen that movie dozens, maybe even a couple hundred times. There's just nothing like going to see something in a theater.
Yeah.
And to see one of our favorite movies again, it's just...
Especially leaving this parking lot that we're in right now, where we went to this movie with our parents and our grandparents, and I have vivid memories of leaving this exact parking lot and after a movie and just being in awe of what I've seen.
This movie was made 30 years ago, but minus how somewhat dated a good chunk of the animation is, it could have been made today.
It is, watching it again, you see not only the incredible ways that this can hold up, but you see the potential that is there in the stuff that doesn't.
Yeah, this is a movie where it wouldn't work as well if the story wasn't the exact way it needed to be.
If they didn't have the exact right actors, if the characters weren't just as charming as they are, everything had to line up perfectly to make this movie work, and it works on every conceivable level. The cast is perfect from the top down. The writing is one of the tightest scripts you could imagine for an animated movie.
It's only 85 minutes. It flies by, and it's so tight. There is not an ounce of fat on this.
And literally, there is not a single movement that the characters make. There's not a single shot. Nothing is wasted. Probably because these guys knew that if they wasted time on filler in any conceivable way, then they would have wasted millions of dollars that they didn't have.
No.
This was an upstart company that was just getting handed $30 million by Disney, and they knew that every shot, every frame, every little movement that these characters made cost them money. And if they failed at this, then the company would not exist anymore.
And fortunately, it succeeded in every conceivable way, and we got where we are today.
Pixar is, I wouldn't call it thriving exactly, because there are obviously a few little hiccups that have gone over the last couple of years with the pandemic and layoffs and everything like that in recent years.
And the executive change-ups that have happened over the last couple of years, especially where Pixar is still kind of in their rebuilding period, but also in a place where they're starting to find a niche again.
But you can see in this movie the little ways in which this is the company that would end up becoming the company that basically pumps out hit after hit after hit for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And most of that is, once again, the fact that even though certain aspects of the animation did not age as well, like everything that's not the specific main characters feels like not fully rendered, not animated as well. Long story short, there's a reason they decided that these characters needed to be slightly humanoid toys that needed to look a little plasticky. Granted, the human characters and Scud and other non-human characters still look better than some of the other, like, cheap CGI animation you would think of when you think of what's the cheapest stuff that you can pump out. But even compared to now, when Pixar has created human characters that actually do look good, it's obvious that these characters just still need a little bit of working up. But the fact is that they're animated well because the Pixar animators mostly were trained under, like, some of the best in animation. A few of the top brass at Pixar at the time were the first Cal Arts graduates.
And you look at the names coming by in the credits, and it's a veritable who's who of people who would go on to become some of the biggest names in Pixar filmmaking. You get, like, Darla K. Anderson and Pete Docter and Andrew Stanton and Joe Ranft and Lee Unkrich and all these amazing other people who have made names for themselves at Pixar.
Whether it be Darla K. Anderson producing the likes of Finding Nemo, or Pete Docter becoming one of the most sought-after directors in Pixar and eventually becoming its CCO. Andrew Stanton has made a name outside of Pixar as well as within it. Lee Unkrich directed the best Toy Story movie. And now these names in the credits are just kind of a checklist of who made this company what it is. And that really says something.
Yeah.
As always, like we said, Randy Newman's score is nostalgic as all hell. Not just his score, but the original songs he contributed. It wasn't even until today that I think I realized that the triumphant moment when Buzz rips the rocket off of his back at the end of the movie is scored to a major key version of Sailing No More, the song that Randy Newman sings in his lowest point in the movie.
And it's just... we cried twice watching this.
Which is twice more than I thought we would after having, seen this movie a bunch. I did not think I still had tears left to cry about this movie, but it just felt right.
30 years, a lot has happened. We personally have been through a lot, and it says something that this movie can still grab us, that we can still go back to that time when we were just 2 years old watching this movie and watching our favorite movie of all time.
And now we've seen it 8 times in the theater. Now,
And
we've seen it 8 times in the movie theater, and
it's nostalgia, and it's remembering people who aren't here anymore, and it's
just remembering that 30 years has passed, and in some ways we're better for it, some ways we're worse off, but my God, is Toy Story still there?
although one reminder of it's been 30 years is when you get up to go to the bathroom partway through the movie and your joints hurt.
But also another thing about it being 30 years later is that you're suddenly reminded that literally the first 2 people Woody talks to in the movie are no longer with us, because he literally talks to Sarge, Arlie Emery, and Slinky Dog, Jim Varney.
And then, of course, immediately after that, we have the late, great Don Rickles. So,
Yeah,
like with Dogma, we are also brought to the attention of people who are no longer with us.
yeah.
But like we said last time, talking about these people helps to keep them here.
But I love this movie. I don't think there's anything in the world that can make me not love this movie. Even now that we are more aware of the ways that you can critically analyze this movie, we are just so much more in love with it in the ways that we can just kind of pick the little details apart and be like, look at that, look at how well they did that, look at how well they did that.
Look at that little detail that we would have never gotten when we were 2.
Like, look at that bumper sticker. Look at all the pun names on the companies that they created. It's just, I don't know. This is just one of those movies that is perfect for the time, and I don't think it will ever get so old that I won't want to revisit it at some point.
And at a time when we need escapism now more than ever, it is perfect escapism to go back to a time when the world didn't seem so awful.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Toy Story ever, which, who are you?
Through cultural osmosis alone, you should be aware of Toy Story, because the toys have never not been on store shelves since 1995.
This was one of the biggest movies of the year that it came out, and it's still influencing what children's animation and even some non-children's animation is like today. It's the reason that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen did like 1 million Disney movies between the 2 of them in the 90s and 2000s. It's the reason Pixar is a name you know. It's the reason a lot of people got into filmmaking. It's the reason a lot of people got into animation. This movie will be iconic until the day that the world is over. And I truly hope that a new generation will always be there to be exposed to this story, these characters, in a new and exciting way.
Yeah.
I don't know what Toy Story 5 has in store for us. Personally, I have the faith that Andrew Stanton at least has the awareness of how important this is, how much these characters mean to everybody, which how could he not? Toy Story was his first screenwriting credits.
Not many people can say their first screenwriting credit got them nominated for an Oscar.
But I truly think that this is a movie that everybody should see at least once in their life, no matter how they see it. And yeah, this 30th anniversary version doesn't have bells and whistles on it. It's not like they remade the movie shot for shot and re-rendered it and made it look all nice and pretty for the 2025 audience. It's not like they slapped a new coat of paint on it. It's not like they slapped a new clip from Toy Story 5 or a new introduction or Q&A session with the filmmakers on it. But I don't think it needed the bells and whistles, because what it really needed was to be that movie again, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah. We saw a movie that has not changed in the 30 years since we've seen it, and we're all the happier for it.
Though I do miss the old 1995 Pixar animated Disney logo, because No, that
to me,
felt wrong.
to me, that is what has to be in front of Toy Story.
That felt wrong. No, that felt wrong.
In fact, it wasn't even the 100th anniversary logo there, so I don't know what their deal is. Is this just the old version they put out in 2009?
No, because they put one out for the Disney 100. Because they put it out again in Disney 100.
Well, then I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, yeah. The Toy Story 30th anniversary. I'm glad we saw this again, even though we could have seen it at home. I'm just happy. I don't know what else to say.
Yep.
So, that's it for right now. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, leave in the comments what you may or may not think of Toy Story. And don't forget to tune in next time when it doesn't matter what we're watching. Bye.
Bye.
I mean, how do you cuddle this? Ow, 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 gosh, ow. Here, I'm just going to curl up with my little, ow, 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 not easy to do.